Modern life is built around the pursuit of comfort. Everything we do, every app, every convenience, every distraction, is designed to make life easier, and yet in this very ease, something vital has been lost. The human spirit was not built for endless comfort. It was built to confront, to struggle, to bear the unbearable, and find meaning through it. When you trade your potential for ease, you commit a quiet form of suicide. You die long before your heart stops beating. The tyranny of comfort is subtle but deadly. It numbs your purpose, blunts your ambition, and convinces you that existing peacefully is the same as living fully. It is not. Comfort is a sedative that keeps you from discovering who you could become. You must understand that the pursuit of comfort will never satisfy the deepest parts of you. Comfort is a short-term anesthetic. It dulls pain but erases meaning. True fulfillment requires engagement with life's difficulties. It requires that you take on the challenges voluntarily, not because someone forces you, but because you know that growth demands sacrifice. When you choose to remain comfortable, you forfeit your chance at transformation. The suffering you avoid today will become the regret that haunts you tomorrow. The comfort you cling to now will cost you your potential later. To live meaningfully is to reject the lie that ease is the goal. Responsibility is the antidote to that lie. It is the weight that gives your life substance, the burden that keeps you grounded in reality. People imagine responsibility as a kind of imprisonment, a limitation on freedom, but it is precisely the opposite. When you pick up responsibility, you stop floating aimlessly through existence and begin to move with purpose. A man or woman without responsibility is a leaf in the wind, subject to every gust of circumstance. But the one who chooses to bear something heavy, who says, "I will take this on, even if it's difficult," that person begins to matter. The responsibility you assume defines the scope of your life's meaning. Carrying responsibility gives structure to your chaos. It transforms your suffering into something noble. If you carry the burden of caring for others, for building something meaningful, for improving even a small corner of the world, your pain becomes part of a story worth telling. But if you run from responsibility, every difficulty becomes meaningless suffering. Responsibility gives suffering a direction. It turns the chaos of existence into a pathway toward order, and that is where meaning is born. Your duty is not to avoid the heaviness of life, but to shoulder it voluntarily. And in that act, you become someone capable of enduring the tragedy of being. Life is always poised between order and chaos. Order is what you understand. Your job, your home, your routines. Chaos is the unknown, everything that frightens you, everything that could destroy you or transform you. You cannot live in total order. You would stagnate and decay. But you cannot live in chaos either. You would drown in anxiety and confusion. Meaning emerges where those two meet, and the bridge between them is responsibility. When you take responsibility, you voluntarily step into chaos to bring something new into order. That's creation itself, the psychological reenactment of the same principle that brought the cosmos out of nothingness. Responsibility is not merely a social duty. It is the mechanism through which you transform chaos into order in your own soul. Every time you face the unknown, you're walking that ancient path. When you decide to take on a challenge, to improve yourself, to fix what you can, to tell the truth despite fear, you are engaging in the oldest story ever told, the hero confronting the dragon. Without that confrontation, you become weak, resentful, and lost. But with it, you build strength, character, and meaning. The choice between comfort and responsibility is the choice between living asleep or awakening to your potential. The modern world has lied to you about happiness. You have been told that the goal of life is to be happy, that happiness is the sign of success, the proof that you're doing things right. But happiness is a byproduct, not a destination. It comes and goes like the weather. Meaning, on the other hand, endures. It stays with you when everything falls apart. Comfort may offer fleeting happiness, but meaning offers strength. And strength is what you need to endure the inevitable tragedy of life. When you orient your life toward happiness, you become fragile. You start to avoid conflict, difficulty, and pain because they threaten your pleasure. But in doing so, you also avoid growth. A person obsessed with comfort cannot mature. They remain a child surrounded by toys, terrified of responsibility. To grow, you must aim not at happiness, but at truth, courage, and meaning. Those will not always make you happy, but they will make you strong. And a strong person is capable of joy, the deeper kind that exists even in suffering. Happiness is pleasant, but meaning is profound. Happiness is comfort, meaning is depth. Happiness asks for nothing, meaning demands everything. To pursue meaning is to accept suffering as the price of significance. When you stop asking, what will make me happy, and start asking, what will make my life meaningful, you cross the threshold into adulthood. And with that question comes responsibility, the weight that turns chaos into order and transforms a mere existence into a life worth living. Discipline is the daily act of choosing meaning over comfort. It is the ability to say no to yourself, not out of hatred, but out of love for your potential. The undisciplined person is a slave to impulse, tossed around by every fleeting emotion. Discipline says, do what is necessary now so that you can become who you are meant to be later. It's not punishment, it's structure. And structure is freedom, because it gives you control over your own life. Every act of discipline builds the foundation of your strength. Waking up early, working diligently, telling the truth when it's hard. These small acts accumulate into something extraordinary. They shape your character. Without discipline, chaos invades, habits decay, purpose erodes. But with discipline, even suffering becomes manageable because you know who you are and what you stand for. You begin to respect yourself. And self-respect is the seed from which all genuine confidence grows. Comfort offers you pleasure in the moment, but at the cost of long-term integrity. Discipline demands effort in the moment, but offers long-term fulfillment. The question is not whether life will be hard, it will be, but whether you will suffer meaningfully or meaninglessly. Discipline gives your suffering direction. It says, I will bear this burden today so I can stand taller tomorrow. Every time you follow through on that promise, you become a little more formidable, a little more whole, a little more human. Self-discipline is self-respect in action. It's how you prove to yourself that your future is worth sacrificing for. The person who cannot control their impulses is owned by them. They are not free. Comfort will enslave you. Discipline will liberate you. Every time you choose the harder path for the sake of what is right, you reclaim a piece of your soul from chaos. That is the essence of a meaningful life, voluntarily bearing the burden of responsibility, one disciplined act at a time. Resentment is what grows in the absence of responsibility. When life feels unfair, when others seem to have more, resentment whispers that you are a victim. It tells you that you have been cheated, that the world owes you recompense. But resentment is poison. It destroys the one who drinks it. It turns your suffering into bitterness and blinds you to your own potential. Responsibility is the antidote because it redirects your focus from blame to action.